It's good of you to join us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Judge.
One of the biggest challenges to cutting the federal budget is dealing with entitlement programs like Social Security and Medicare, the welfare state, as Congressman McCarter properly called it, which are bankrupting this country. Once a program like that is created, those who become dependent upon it have a high political motivation to keep it in place. So when my next guest, a congressman, went back to his district after voting in favor of the Paul Ryan budget proposal, which did contain cuts to Medicare, he didn't exactly get a hero's welcome, despite, in my view, doing the right thing. Take a look.
Not one senior citizen is harmed by this budget.
What?
You're a liar!
Everyone under 55 is screwed.
With us now is that man, Florida Republican Congressman Daniel Webster. Great name, a former historical hero, and maybe a present-day hero. Congressman Webster, welcome to Freedom Watch.
Good to be on, Judge.
All right, so what was happening? You were confronting some constituents who either didn't understand the need to cut Medicare or thought that they were going to have to pay their medical bills on their own, who've become accustomed to the feds paying for their bills, and they wanted to let you know that in no uncertain terms.
Well, I think, first of all, you got to understand who these people were. Definitely it was a planned, organized demonstration. One of the heads of the people that were there is the former president of the Florida Acorn. And, you know, those are just groups that have changed names and they're back again, and they do not want to change the way this country exists. Their solution, if we want to do something about the debt, is to raise taxes. Our solution, which is more common sense, is to cut spending.
Is it your understanding that these people organized these protests to sort of mimic the more spontaneous protests against the president's health care reforms that we all experienced about 2 summers ago, but their efforts to organize them were, shall we say, fairly transparent? And so we know that these are basically political activists, not ordinary constituents, that were screaming at you.
Oh, sure. And we captured their emails before the day that it happened, and we know where they came from. We know what they are. MoveOn.org and another organization called Organize Now were the ones that sent not a whole lot of people, just enough to continue to disrupt. And in the end, their message, I don't believe, resonates in this district. I believe we've got to cut spending. I think the people know that. Congressman
McCarter, does the federal government have any business paying anybody's health bills, directly or indirectly? I mean, it's not in the Constitution. It's bankrupting us. It didn't happen until FDR came along, and then it was enhanced by Lyndon Johnson. Can't we go back to those days where everybody took care of themselves, children took care of parents, the federal government was out of the picture?
Well, that would be a great America. I don't think anyone's proposing, no matter who's proposed a budget, even the ones that have proposed a very dramatic cuts in the budget spending, no one's proposed getting rid of some of these programs. I think modifying them, making them work is probably where we're headed. I think Paul Ryan did an excellent job in his budget proposal and his pathway to prosperity that shows that. And I think in the end, this is going to be a step-by-step. We passed a small budget cut for this year's budget where we've turned the rudder of government maybe a degree. Right. It's going to need to be turned a little more. Step by step, we're going to get there. I think in the end, if we make this a prosperous country, we'll have done our job.
Last question, Congressman Webster. In about 2 weeks, you'll have to make one of the most important votes of your career, to say to the president, no more borrowing. Operate the government on the basis of the money you take in, or to allow him to borrow the $2.7 trillion he wants to borrow in the next 12 months. How will you vote?
I can promise you 100% that a clean debt ceiling raise of $2.7, $2.5 trillion, whatever it is not going to pass the House of Representatives, for sure.
Got it.
And here's what I would say. I don't think we should give up. I don't think we should give up on any of this stuff. I think we should use that as the pry bar to get what we want.
All right. We'll see what happens. Congressman Daniel Webster, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks.
There they are.